Welcome in everybody to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host Michael Darcy, and today I'm going to break down the Week 6 matchup between the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Final score from Arrowhead Stadium, Texans 31, Chiefs 24. Chiefs Kingdom, that was the worst game that I've ever seen from the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it was a game that I thought the Chiefs had in the bag. I mean, the offense was firing on all cylinders, but guess what? The Chiefs' defense came onto the scene and ruined this game. I don't even know where to start. I mean, there were so many flags, there were so many penalties that was inexcusable by itself. But this Chiefs defense could not stop the run to save their life. The secondary couldn't step up in big moments. And this was a team that forced a couple turnovers. And even though they forced turnovers, they weren't able to capitalize them on the offensive side. So this Chiefs team choked in multiple ways. I was expecting this Chiefs offense to put up 35 points. I mean, in the first quarter alone, they put up 17 points. But the rest of the game, they only put up 7. So, I mean, it was just a disappointing game from the offense in the second half. But this defense, I mean, do I really even have to talk about it? It is so bad. It is terrible. I mean, you can't win games when you leave that defense on the field. I mean, guys like Frank Clark have done a terrible job of even getting to the quarterback. I mean, today there was no pressure on Deshaun Watson. He was running all over the place. And you cannot win games when you have no pass rush. And, I mean, we're really missing Chris Jones right now. That's freaking evident. But Frank Clark needs to step it up. I mean, where was he all of today? He has just been getting manhandled by all the offensive linemen. And the worst part of all of this is the Texans don't have a good offensive line. So it just shows you how bad this Chiefs pass rushing is. But I don't even want to take it away from how bad the run defense was. Carlos Hyde had over 100 yards, and Duke Johnson was unstoppable. So that's inexcusable. I mean, good Lord, Chiefs defense, step it up and get them off the field. I mean, the offense didn't have a lot of time on the field, but when they did get on the field, they weren't any good. I mean, Mahomes was getting 3 and outs because he had no protection from the offensive line. I mean, this offensive line is just horrendous. Cam Irving is possibly the worst offensive lineman I have ever seen. Get him off the field. So, I mean, there's just so many things that have me just frustrated with this game. The Chiefs dropped back-to-back games at Arrowhead Stadium for the first time in what seems like forever, and I really expected them to win this game, especially after the first quarter. I mean, the Chiefs put up 17 points, and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes were throwing deep balls, and they looked unstoppable. I mean, Tyreek Hill had a deep catch that he basically just ripped it away from a Texans defender and just jumped into the end zone for a touchdown. So I really expected them to have a much bigger game, but they just could not get back on the field because every time the Chiefs defense would come on, it was a 9 or 10 minute drive. So their defense is tired. They couldn't get any stops. The pass rushing was horrendous. And I mean, there's just so much more that I could talk about. It's just maddening. I cannot believe that we are seeing a defense that looks even worse than they did last year. I mean, how is that possible? So I'm sorry for the yelling and ranting, but the Texans are a good team. I'm not going to lie. But the Chiefs are a better team, and they're looking like they're terrible because their defense looks even worse than they do last year, and they cannot stop a nosebleed. So that's what really has me mad. This offense, even though they did have a few 3 and outs, was still good. I mean, you cannot expect this offense to put up 25 plus points every game. I mean, your defense eventually has to step up and help you out. And so far, this Chiefs defense has not done that. And Patrick Mahomes looked very good today. He had 3 touchdowns, and he ended up throwing for 256 yards. Again, it wasn't as many yards as he's thrown in the past, but it was just inexcusable how when the Texans offense got on the field, I mean, Deshaun Watson was throwing it all over the place. So that is what really just angers me. I mean, Mahomes finished the day with 3 touchdowns, but he also threw his first pick of the season. Deshaun Watson also threw a pick, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns and a throwing touchdown. So he was really the MVP for the Texans. The Chiefs had no answer for stopping him, and ultimately, that is why they lost. But I cannot take this Chiefs team right now. I don't think that they're even going to make the AFC Championship game by the way that they're playing right now. they need to get their heads out of their butts and come out and play some defense. I mean, good Lord, Chiefs defense. You could not stop the Texans to get off the field, and that's inexcusable. I'm reiterating the same fact, but I mean, come on. I mean, the Chiefs defense was even able to make a few stops. I mean, Charvarius Ward had a very nice one-handed interception, and Juan Thornhill had a great interception at the end of the second quarter that sent him flying back into the end zone. So, I mean, they got stops, but the Chiefs offense just turned it over after that. So, it was a sloppy game on both halves, but I cannot expect this Chiefs offense to come out every game and be perfect. They are not perfect. But recently, this Chiefs defense haven't really given them any shot to get back on the field. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. The Chiefs defense is just horrendous. The Chiefs offense isn't terrible, but they just could not get back on the field. So, I mean, hopefully they can get better. I mean, I really don't know what to say at this point because our linebackers are not doing their job. They need to go out and get somebody that can actually stop the run. I don't know who that would exactly be, but you can't expect the linebackers that they have right now to get the job done. So, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm going out, I'm getting a linebacker because this is horrendous. I don't even think that the secondary did terrible, except for they just couldn't stop DeAndre Hopkins. So, I mean, Chiefs Kingdom, sorry for the rant, but I'm just furious right now. I cannot believe that this Chiefs defense continues to get worse as we go along. I mean, that just blows my mind. And Steve Spagnuolo is not doing his job. So, maybe Bob Sutton was better. I don't know. But I think that the Chiefs need to get this straightened out immediately because they're not even going to get to the playoffs if they keep up this losing. So, if I had to break down the Chiefs' offense in 4 words, it would be lack of a running game. And that's just inexcusable. But everybody's saying, why doesn't Andy Reid run the ball? Why is Andy Reid not doing this? Why is he not doing that? Well, it's pretty easy to see why they're not running the ball when the offensive line is terrible, the running backs are old and past their prime, so the Chiefs need a running back that can actually get yards. I would be more surprised if they didn't go out and get a running back over everything else. I mean, they really need a running back right now because McCoy's not the answer, Williams not the answer, so unless they bring in Darwin Thompson or go out to get somebody else, I don't see this running game getting any better. So, sorry, Chiefs Kingdom, for the big rant, but again, I don't see this team beating other teams like the Patriots or even tougher teams like the Packers. So, I mean, all we can do at this point is hope this Chiefs team gets better. But right now, I'm not looking too optimistic. So, right now, the Chiefs are 4-2. They're in first place in the AFC West. I still think they're going to win their division, but I mean, the Raiders are approaching, and the Chargers aren't too many games behind. So if the Chiefs keep losing, I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders took over for first place in the division. So this Chiefs team better get up and wake up and start playing some good football. So that's my final thought. The Chiefs need to basically just get better on both sides of the ball. And if they can do that, they should be able to win their next matchup. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys like these videos and want to support me, go click the link in the description and go support me on my Patreon. I would more than appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the KC Sports Report by Michael Darcy.